Leafs win, you give $20 to the Humane Society of Durham Region. That was the original plan, and then I switched it to $50 per Leafs win. Right, and you switched that when? When the Leafs basically weren't winning games. Okay, but now they're winning so many games, they've cost you $350 over the last 9 games. Yeah, but it all goes towards a great cause. Let's go! It starts with an A and ends with anxiety. Off the charts levels of passion! That's just a nightmare! With you wherever you are, welcome to LFR. Victory, puppies! The Leafs lured me into a trap, and now it is their goal in life to make me broke! And honestly, I think I'm okay with that. Leafs win! 5-0 over the Vancouver Canucks. Let's talk about that game. Listen, the Leafs are 7-0-2 in their last 9 games. That is 16 out of a possible 18 points. And it's got the Leafs right in playoff contention. They're not in a spot right now because everyone else keeps bloody winning, but they are right there. And here's the thing. It's early January. You still got the rest of January. You got a few games in February. There's the Olympics. March is a buzzsaw. Mark is also, I don't know Mark. And then April is going to be what CJ usually refers to as squeaky butt time. The fact of the matter is you still have several dozen games left and the race is going to be tight the whole time. But a stretch like this is exactly what the doctor ordered. And I am frankly straight up afraid to say they're back. This is as back as they've looked. Oh my goodness. They're playing relatively solid defense. I mean, they played very solid defense tonight, but we'll get to that. They're scoring goals. The power play is scoring. Their penalty kill is unreal. They're getting great goaltending. And they're just jerks. Enormous jerks. There's a lot to like, and more importantly, there isn't a whole lot not to like. Like, even the usual Leaf rules don't apply. And this game right here was a Leaf loss 9 times out of 10. They are heading into this game 6-0-2 in their last 8. They are on home ice on Hockey Night in Canada. They're playing the Vancouver Canucks. That's a big marquee name. And the Vancouver Canucks are literally dead last in the entire NHL. And it is David Kampf's return game. Steve, he has 2 goals and 3 points in 22 games. Exactly! The worse he is doing, the more likely it is he will score. Listen, for as long as I've been watching Leaf games, for as long as you've been watching Leaf games, if ever a game was going to end your hot streak, there it was right there. And the Leafs did everything in their power to hand this game to the Vancouver Canucks in the first period. 4 power plays, including 2 too many men on the ice penalties and a high stick from Jake McCabe that just whacks Elias Pettersson right in the face that led to a near full 2-minute 4-on-3. And we spent all night last game against the Flyers singing the praises of the penalty kill and how great and unbeatable it is. And now here it is. In this game, it's going to get beat, and the Leafs are going to lose. Again, I'm coming up like, oh, Steve, you're so negative. What? It's like criticizing an antelope for being skittish of lions. Yes, it's in my DNA, but I've also seen them eat a bunch of my friends. But somehow, some way, despite, again, I'm going to emphasize, giving the Canucks 4 power plays in the first period, including 2 that you shouldn't be getting called for 1. In any game, you got called for 2 in the same period. Despite that, you leave the first period up 3-0. Oh, I didn't even mention that you got outshot by the last place team in the NHL, 15-6. I mean, not necessarily because you're a bad team or you were getting caved in at 5-on-5, but you gave up 4 power plays. Leafs got 1 and they scored on their second shot of the game. Momentum is a thing, a big, big thing. And Your special teams coming up in special moments matters. We talked about this on the Steve Dangle podcast recently. Sheldon Keefe talking about the New Jersey Devils and their power play hurting them in a game where their power play scored. The power play scored in the third period when they were already down 3-0. He wasn't talking about that. He was talking about in the second period when the game was still within reach, when it was still winnable. Their power play sagged. The rest of the team sagged with it. The other team scores, you lose. On this one, the Canucks get their opportunities. Too many men on the ice, less than 100 seconds into the game. That's a gift. The Leafs kill it. Hooray! Ratu takes a tripping call on Austin Matthews, who had a great drive to the net. Nylander, Matthews, Nylander, Michelli, nasty! Leafs are getting outshot like 6-2. Leafs are up 1-0. Leafs are feeling like they can beat the world. Canucks are feeling like here we go again. And in that moment, they're both right. And the reason for that is each respective team's special teams. Leafs get the lead, and they're just trying to hand it back. Matthews takes a hook on Marcus Pettersson. Soft or not, whatever, you're in the box. Kill it. Too many men on the ice again. You kill it again. And the lack of confidence just oozes out of the Vancouver Canucks. They could not win a battle. They could not hold the blue line to save their life. They had such a hard time controlling passes and making passes. But after all this, they're still only down 1-0. But enough things have gone wrong for them that it probably feels like they're down 6 or 7-0. Ooh, I didn't even mean to do that. I hate that. Not that in general, it's just when I do it, when I notice it. Anyway, so after those 3 kills, Stetcher, who was out there for those 3 kills, finds Domi. Domi finds a beautiful scenic open lane. He rips one. It's a nice shot, but it beats Demko right underneath the blocker. You gotta have that. And Domi just stoically points at Stetcher. No smile whatsoever, because that does not make Max Domi smile. Nope, we don't need any maximum Domi on this one, just minimum Domi. We keep the Domi at a minimum. We smile later. And then before the period is done, after yet another kill, this is filth. Steven Lorentz on the rush with William Nylander. I couldn't believe this Lorentz pass got through to Nylander. Nylander drags it. Forehand, backhand. Ugh. I don't know what sound I made. I don't know what I just watched. I don't know how you come out for the second period if you're a Canuck. The Leafs score on 3 out of the 6 shots they get in the first period. They kill 4 power plays, and they come out of the thing with a 3-0 lead. And I said on the stream, you can't have Demko come out for the second period. And that's the thing. They didn't. It is the Leafs, ironically, who come out for the second period much, much, much better than they were in the first. And they can't buy one because Kevin Lankinen is standing on his head. It doesn't look like the Canucks are going to come back in this one, but it's the NHL. It's 2026. We've seen it. We've seen it many times from pretty much every team in the league. This game isn't over. Until later in the period, William Nylander does a brilliant job holding the blue line. It's a great defensive play from Willie. And then he finds John Tavares. He's in clean on Lankinen. No mistake. John Tavares had an unbelievable start to this season, and then he wilted a little bit in the middle of December when, and to be fair, pretty much everyone wilted. Since December 23rd, since this 7-0-2 run began for the Leafs, Tavares has 9 points in 9 games, and he has points in 8 out of 9 games. He assisted on the OT winner in Philly, and then he does this. This is the dagger. You could argue Willie's was the dagger, Domi's. Technically, the first goal by Michelli was the dagger. But at that point, you've beaten Kevin Lankinen, the one guy holding the Canucks in this game, even kind of, sort of. It's over. All right, well, the Canucks aren't going to go down without a fight. There's going to be some rough stuff. Dude, Höglander shoving guys on top of Wool. I didn't like that. And who gets in his face? Cowan! Cowan drops the gloves. They didn't let him fight, but he wanted to. And then, for really no good reason. It was a bit of a, you know what? It's always a good reason. Domi didn't like the hit that he got from Marcus Pettersson. So he's following him. He doesn't care what the score is. He's following him. And Marcus Pettersson goes, you know what? We're getting our butts kicked. Throws his gloves off. Now, this is one of the weirdest size matches in the NHL. Or rather, size mismatches. Max Domi is 5'10", 208 pounds. Marcus Pettersson is 6'5", 174 pounds. And this fight was a great example of why they have weight classes and not height classes. Remember when Domi scored like a kind of sick goal earlier in this game and didn't smile at all, even though it was only his 5th of the season and he should be celebrating every goal like he just won the cup? Okay, cool. Here's him in a fight that he doesn't need to be in a game that's pretty much out of reach. Look at this. He's loving it. He's having the time of his life. He's an assist shy of a shorty. He's an assist shy of a shorty. He's an assist shy of a Gordy. There we go. That's a good job. I talk for a living. In the third period, Wool did his thing. The Leafs broke up passes. They had good sticks. They stepped in front of shots and they blocked them. They dumped the puck at every possible interval. Oh, and the penalty kill was asked to do its job again, and the penalty kill did its job again. Now, at the end of the game, Brandon Carlo, who has looked spectacular since coming back, goes to line up David Kampf. Now, the Leafs got the Canucks a couple times with some pretty decent hits, especially in open ice. Carlo, if he had connected with this, would have knocked Kampf into Abbotsford. And even though he didn't, Kampf is looking back at him. Kampf, he'll fight. He's looking like, what the hell, man? We played together last year. Now, Kiefer Sherwood got in Carlo's face for Kampf, but Kampf was going. And I got to admit, I think everyone involved did their job there. It's Brandon Carlo's job to not give a good gosh darn whether we played together or not. What we were criticizing Carlo for earlier in the season was not sticking up for Stolarz. Not knowing or realizing that he was probably battling an injury at the time, because I tell you what, these past 2 games, he looks way better than he ever did at the beginning of this season. Game's not over till it's over. I don't care if you play together. Try to knock the guy into next week with a legal check. Is the game still on? Well, suppose you should keep your head up. Also, Kampf doesn't need to take that. Not in a 4-0 game that's almost done. And Sherwood doesn't need to take that. Not in a 4-0 game that's almost done. I don't think there's a good guy. I don't think there's a bad guy. I think everyone did their job and that's fine. But speaking of doing their job, what is extremely funny on the stream, we noticed it's Riley and OEL on the power play, because the Leafs got a power play out of this. And just the third line. It's Waugh, it's Cowan, it's Robertson. So there was just a kerfuffle about, hey man, game's almost over, you should stop trying. And then the Leafs throw out, do you understand? Berube didn't put out the first unit for mercy. But what he actually did was he sent out the unit that is much more likely to score. Nick Robertson has had to fight and claw his way into just being in the lineup, fight and claw his way into ice time, claw his way into power play time. He has to fight for everything. And when the Leafs give him garbage time minutes, he scores. Almost every time. And he scores with less than 14 seconds left, because of course he did. And it's his 10th of the season. Hey! Unassisted too, so no one else even gets a point. It's a beautiful thing. Leafs kill the remaining 13.8 seconds. Way to solidify a nail biter. And Wool gets the shutout. What's not to like? Questions. Did Lawton really wind up another slapper on a shorthanded breakaway? Yeah, he did. I forgot he did that. Now, this one didn't go in, but it's worked twice. It's worked once with the Leafs and once with the Flyers. That's his move on account of it works. Hockey's dumb. And Scott Lawton's a rock star. I don't care. Is this the most consistent Leafs bottom 6 in the salary cap era? This is a great question, and I'm going to answer it strange. This is the Leafs' most consistent bottom 6, in part because of its lack of consistency. Bobby McMahon was on the 4th line tonight. Bobby McMahon is not a bottom 6 player on this team. At least he hasn't been for the vast majority of the season. The dude wasn't he their top goal scorer in December? Dude's on the 4th line. What's different is whoever they put in the bottom 6 ends up playing well. And it starts with the core. Every great athlete has a solid core, and the core is up the middle. Nick Waugh and Scott Lawton. Nick Waugh has played with all kinds of guys. He's played with Cowan. He's played with Robertson. He's playing with both of them right now. He was on a tandem with Dakota Joshua for a while, and that was working. And now Joshua's out because of a weird injury. And McMahon was there. Did I say McMahon? I can't even remember. He was even with, wasn't he with Nylander for a bit? Nyes was his line mate for a bit. Lawton. Sometimes he's had Cowan. He's had a lot of Lorentz. He's had some Yarncroke. He had McMahon tonight. I think he played a little bit with Dakota Joshua as well. Hey, we should all be in a good mood and not do revisionist stuff, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Why did the Leafs play Scott Lawton on the wing after they got him last year, tricking a decent chunk of the fan base into thinking he's bad? Why? Huh? You know? Anyway, this is by far. They're getting goals from throughout the lineup, which they were always going to need heading into the season. You cannot lose a player who scores as much as Mitch Marner, puts up as many points as Mitch Marner, and expect to do anything unless you're getting production from elsewhere. They've been getting some offense from the defense. That's good. But it's just everyone chipping in. It's pretty rare that we get to the end of June and it's like, oh, there go the Stanley Cup champions, a 1 or 2 line team. Even if the Stars carry the load, which they probably should, you need this kind of thing from your depth. What do you attribute to noted forward Nick Robertson's arrival as a multi-dimensional player this season? Is it just years of experience and coaching clicking, or bottom 6 players like Waugh, Lawton, and Lorentz helping him find his game? I'm going to use this to talk about Robertson, but also guys like McMahon and other players throughout the lineup. Lawton and Waugh, they're huge parts of that and everything. Michelli has been also just a weird addition, recently, but not so much at the beginning of the season. What it is about this team that has struck me as differently recently, they're winning games, and I'm sure they're happy about that, and they're confident about that, and they're feeling themselves about that. But this is the first time in a long time where the Leafs have wanted. You know what I mean? People talk about adversity, and is what the Leafs went through in October, November, December such a bad thing if they learn from it in the long run? Well, you're still not in a playoff spot, and you got to make the playoffs before we start talking about stuff like this. But I think seeing Robertson develop a whole game, and McMahon has definitely become a much more complete player, and other guys throughout the lineup, they've been hungry. Not just to make the lineup, they need to dig out of this. They've got to find a way to dig out of firing their assistant coach right before Christmas. That's not a decision that a team that is doing well makes. Someone has got to get angry for a minute. Someone has got to have a little FU in their game. And you know what? That's wrong. It's wrong. Not someone. Everyone! We can talk about the things that they do well versus the things that they weren't doing well before. This is easily the most they've looked like a team this entire season. And I gotta tell you, it's a lot of fun to watch. And we deserve it. Let's be honest. My friends, that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. 7-0-2. That's nice, eh?